everybody, Jason here of GhostbustersNews.com, and as always, Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube. And over the past week, my emails, my inbox, the Ghostbusters News emails, the inbox, everything, they've been flooded by fans wanting to know what I thought of the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. Now, let me say, I'm just flabbergasted that people not only want to know what I thought about it, but also care what I actually thought about it. I mean, that means a lot to me. It should come as no surprise that I'm absolutely, positive through the moon happy with where the direction is going. Anybody that has watched the Ghostbusters News YouTube channel for a long time, or checked out GhostbustersNews.com, you know that I am very, very positive about the franchise. I mean, that's not always a good thing. I mean, back in 2016, I was crazy positive about Ghostbusters Answer the Call, despite what the, good amount of people on the internet, thought. They had conflicting views on what I did. And even after the release of Answer the Call, I still like that movie. I dig it. But I do like the fact that we're going back to the prime Ghostbusters canon. Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife. At least I think that's what is going to be acknowledged in this new one. I'm also happy that we're not retreading what we've already seen with Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. The idea, the scope, the vision that Jason Reitman has for this movie, the director, it seems something, totally new when compared to what we've already seen in the previous two films. Which is great considering Ghostbusters 2 was pretty much a retread to some degree of the original one. I mean, that's not saying that in the new film, the first one we had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walking down the streets of New York City. The second one we had the Statue of Liberty. I'm not saying I don't know if we're gonna see some big massive thing walking down the streets in Ghostbusters Afterlife. I mean, that may happen, but I kind of hope it doesn't. I hope this film can kind of stand on its own and have its own identity and maybe pass on its own quirks to Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, if that happens. Now, obviously, I've been following set photos from Ghostbusters Afterlife. I have been, people have been sending me stuff all throughout the summer when they were doing the filming in Calgary, Alberta. So I knew what to expect to some degree, but at the same time, if you were to ask me years upon years ago what a Ghostbusters 3 trailer would look like, this was nothing like what I would have expected a Ghostbusters 3 trailer to look like. And I think that's a really, really good thing. I think right now Jason Reitman has found a really nice, healthy medium between new and old, at least from that trailer. I mean, the Ecto one, Egon's Lab, all these little nods to the original franchise, the original Ghostbuster films, of course the Terror Dogs and such like that. It was good, but at the same time, it's setting up this new storyline, this new story arc, this new family. I mean, I guess a new family because the trailer does heavily imply that this is Spangler's family, but I don't know. I mean, there's the one part in the trailer where McKenna Grace's character, she says,
"Your dad never mentioned this to you?"
It's just my mom.
And I feel like they could be throwing us a bit of a curveball with that. I mean, who is her father? There has to be a reason. Something has to be going on there, and I feel like there is something just kind of an eyebrow raiser that once again, Sony's just throwing a curveball here, and there's going to be another surprise. I don't think it's as simple and as easy as what people believe it is when it comes to the trailer, in terms of the family connection and who's all related and stuff like that. Like I said, I think there's another level to who's involved with this family. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like there's something there. I feel like there's something there. Also, one of my favorite parts of the whole trailer, the Terror Dog, when it comes down with its big freaking hoof, its big claw thing, its foot on Paul Rudd's car. Oh man, that's a cool shot. I'm thinking maybe, if we're getting ready for the coming of Gozer once again, and we do see a Terror Dog, which I'm assuming that was the Keymaster going after Paul Rudd, are we also going to get the Gatekeeper going after someone else? Maybe Carrie Coon's character? Maybe Paul Rudd is going to be kind of like the new Lewis, and Carrie Coon will be kind of like the new Dana, at least when it comes to the Gatekeeper Keymaster perspective. Another great nod to the original Ghostbusters movie was Evo Shandor, the Shandor Mining Company. Of course, we see that in the trailer, and anybody who is following the set photos back in the summer, you've known about this for a while. Speaking of that, you can also buy a Shandor Mining Company t-shirt right now in the Ghostbusters News store. We got a link down below in the description. Click that, buy your own Shandor Mining Company shirt. Now, for the more casual Ghostbuster fan, you may not remember the name necessarily of Evo Shandor, but he is the leader of the cult of Gozer. He was also the designer of Dana Barrett's apartment building in the original Ghostbusters film. So, I mean, this whole Gozer the Gozerian coming to Earth mess, I mean, he's to blame. He's at fault here. And being that Shandor, the name is featured in the trailer, and we've got a terror dog, I'm assuming then maybe in Afterlife we're going to see the return of Gozer the Gozerian. If so, I mean, what form will Gozer take? Now, I think one of the hottest topics regarding the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer, and that's mainly because we featured a video of it right here on the Ghostbusters News YouTube channel, was did it need the original 1984 classic Ghostbusters theme song performed by Ray Parker Jr.? And I think the fact that we even have to ask ourselves that, like, did it need this? The fact that the answer is not clearly a yes, to me means the answer is clearly no. It didn't need that song. The trailer does an amazing job taking some samples from Albert Bernstein and also having its own unique sounds and new scoring, that it didn't need the Ghostbuster theme song. I think we're eventually going to get there, either in an upcoming trailer that reveals some of the original actors, or maybe they'll hold off until the actual film, maybe the end credits. I don't know, but I think that song is definitely going to come into play. I mean, when it comes to Ghostbusters, how can it not when it comes to marketing and advertising and all that jazz? Now, another topic was also the lack of original Ghostbusters in the trailer. A lot of people wondering where Bill Murray was, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, other characters like, you know, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts. Is Rick Moranis going to randomly appear? The ghost of Harold Ramis, are they going to CGI that? A lot of people wanting to see some of this stuff in the first Afterlife trailer, and I think we're going to get to some of that with other trailers, because I mean, we have until July of next year when Ghostbusters Afterlife hits theaters, so we're going to see a lot more trailers, and I think we're probably going to get to the theme song once again, and I think we're going to have like little nods to the original actors, and I think we're going to see them here and there in trailers, unless of course their appearance would be like a crazy plot spoiler. But I think we're going to get there. In fact, I think having the Ecto-1 in this trailer, though, I mean, that thing in itself is a character in the Ghostbusters franchise. And I think for this one, I mean, that's all you needed. Have the actual, you know, like real people, you know, not vehicles like the Ecto-1, have the actors in the first trailer set up that new storyline, set up the new family, as if it were. And they do a great job in that, you know, introducing McKenna Grace and Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, Paul Rudd, so on and so forth. They do a great job at setting up the new world and what we can expect from Ghostbusters Afterlife. So the fact that all we really got was the Ecto-1, I'm fine with that. Oh, also, the Ecto-1. People like losing their minds because it is the Ecto-1, it's not the Ecto-1A. People wanting to know, have they like retconned Ghostbusters 2 doesn't exist in the universe anymore? I think it does. I mean, there is that one audio bit of Paul Rudd saying,
There hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years.
I mean, 30 years. 89, we got 99, 09, 19, this year. I mean, that's 30 years, right? So I think Ghostbusters 2 still is in canon. I just think really there's two cars. It's simple as that. There's an Ecto-1, there's an Ecto-1A, there's two vehicles, that's it. Maybe they will mention something about, you know, reconstructing it, and maybe they, I don't know, after Ghostbusters 2, they put it back to the basic styling and it went to a museum, and then they were denounced as frauds, and then the museum got rid of it, and then it's been sitting in this, you know, barn for so many years. I don't know. There could be some storyline that connects all the vehicles as one vehicle, but I think at the end of the day, the easiest answer was the fact that there's two cars. There's an Ecto-1, there's an Ecto-1A, and that's it. And I don't think they need to address it in the trailer. Sorry, correction. I don't think they need to address it in the movie either. I don't need to know that information. Simple as that. I don't really care. Now, at least from what I've seen so far, I do think, though, that they're going to disregard the Ghostbusters, the video game. I don't think that's going to be part of canon. And if that's the case, you know, if they just are like, you know what, that didn't happen, Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife, that's the key plot points we're focusing in on, that's fine. With me, at least. I love Ghostbusters, the video game, but given like the comic book series and given obviously Real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters and Answer the Call, there's so much Ghostbusters lore out there that you don't really need all connected. I'm fine with Ghostbusters, the video game, being this kind of like offshoot of the original two and kind of connecting those stories, but at the same time having Afterlife exist but not connect to the video game. Like, I don't know, for years, like, I followed things like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, and like, I shouldn't say I love those movies because some of them are really bad, but I like those movies. But there's so many like awkward interweaving, reboot, original, prequels, sequels, all that stuff. So if Ghostbusters the video game is, you know, just connected to the first two, but not necessarily Afterlife, I know some people are going to like lose their minds because of that, but I'm okay. Not everything has to connect. I'm fine with that. It's not going to take away my love of that video game anymore, or even more, what have you. Like, I love that game. I think it's fantastic, but if it's not connected to Afterlife, I don't care, really. It's fine. It can stand on its own. Another thing that I've noticed is the comments section and the likes, dislike bars are rather positive when it comes to Ghostbusters Afterlife, but there have been quite a few people like really bickering and getting angry about kids having proton packs on their backs, and oh, kids can't be Ghostbusters, they can't have their own business and everything. What? I don't know, like, as long as they can wield a proton pack, as long as they can get on their backs, I understand it's not the safest idea, and maybe they'll allude to that. Maybe, you know, if Dan Aykroyd shows up later in the film as Ray Stantz, he could be like, you know, that's not a good idea. Don't let them have that. I don't know. I don't know. But for the kids going into business for themselves, do we really need a Ghostbusters, like, business in this world? I mean, if the past two films have shown us anything, it's the fact that the Ghostbusters business is not sustainable. You know, the only reason they're really in business in the first one is because it goes to the Gozerian, and the only reason they're in the business for the second one is because the River of Slime. If they stop Gozer, they go out of business. They stop Vigo the Carpathian. At least from what Paul Rudd said when it's like, oh, there hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years, it sounds like when they stop Vigo, they once again put themselves out of business. So one would assume in the new Ghostbusters Afterlife film, if Gozer in fact is returning and they stop Gozer the Gozerian, are they once again going to be out of business? Is there even a business at this point? Or is it just one big massive threat? Do we really need a Ghostbusters team to be, you know, once again, in business? But would it bother me that at the end of this film we had, you know, 4 Ghostbusters under the age, you know, 16 and younger, being the ones with like proton packs in their back, and they're the ones that are like zapping the big final ghost, busting the big final ghost? Not really. I mean, I would maybe like to see Paul Rudd put on a proton pack. I mean, I would like to see Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson at one point in time maybe strap on a proton pack. But I think doing that may be a little bit more, you know, a little too much fan service. It's hard to say. To me, it just depends on if it makes sense to the plot. That's really what it comes down to. I think that we don't know enough information right now about the plot, about the characters, or anything like that to get upset. The fact that people are commenting and getting angry in comment sections on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, you know, all the social media platforms and everything is ridiculous. The fact that people, after the 2016 film and now Ghostbusters Afterlife, are still arguing and bickering and all this about simple things regarding Ghostbusters, especially with Ghostbusters Afterlife, like it's mind-numbing to some degree. If you don't like this new Ghostbusters Afterlife because it feels like Stranger Things from at least what you've seen in this 2.5 minute long trailer, well, you know what? If you've already made up your mind, don't watch it. Simple as that. But to keep going on, like in the comment section, being like, oh, it's so much like Stranger Things, blah, 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 blah. Just stop. Just stop it. Don't be silly. Wait to see more footage before you get all negative. People shouldn't be angry about Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters should just make people happy. It makes me happy. It should make you happy. Now, I truly feel like this is a love letter to Ghostbuster fans, and once again, director Jason Reitman, from what I've seen so far, I mean, he's done an amazing job, and can I also say, from that trailer, the film looks, like, beautiful when it comes to how it was shot and everything. Like, this thing just like a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. And before I wrap this video up, I do want to say that, yes, I'm always positive about the franchise, and I think to some point, being the fact that I do run GhostbustersNews.com, I kind of have to be. And I know sometimes I should be negative about things, but I think when it comes to this new trailer, this Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, from everything we've seen so far, I don't think there's any reason to be negative just yet. Yes, I want people to come to GhostbustersNews.com and check out the articles and watch the videos and click all this stuff and buy T-shirts and all this stuff. Absolutely helps me out, means a lot, means the world to me. I thank everybody who does that. But if there was something negative in this trailer, I would say so. At least I feel like I would. And I don't think there's really anything there, especially anything there to get angry about, like some people are getting angry about on the internet. And that's just a small minority out there that's actually, getting angry. Once again, the reaction to the trailer so far online has been crazy, crazy positive. And I really hope this movie just does, gangbusters next year, July 10th, 2020. I really hope that it is one of the big summer blockbusters of that. And I hope it just brings new content and new things within the Ghostbusters community. I would love to see a sequel to it, greenlit. I know I'm going way overboard right now, like, oh, this is amazing, let's have a sequel already. But I haven't disliked hardly anything within the Ghostbusters world ever, so more Ghostbusters to me mentally is already a good thing. So what about, I'm not saying immediately, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, I don't know. How about also a new animated series? IDW, they've been doing an amazing job with the Ghostbusters comic book line. How about more video games? A new Ghostbusters video game based around Afterlife? I'm down. I'm down to bust more ghosts in a video game world. I really do hope that Afterlife is a success. I mean, not only for the website, but for all the new types of media that we can get from it. So guys, I just rambled way too long after watching a 2.5 minute long trailer. That is all I've got for you here right now. Be sure to subscribe to Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube and check out GhostbustersNews.com. Also, when you do subscribe, be sure to click that little bell icon so you get all the notifications here. I'll see you right back here next time. Have a good one.